Hey, what up, America? Happy Thursday to you. Today is Thursday, February 23rd, 2017. And in all seriousness, where we are as a nation, we are seeing something that we've never seen before, and a lot of people never expected it to actually happen. But it's looking like there's blessings, in every situation. There's lessons and blessings in every situation, and a lot of times, we get caught up and focus on the hot topic when the topic of the day might be the smokescreen to get us to not focus on the reality of situations, because we're being directed and we're being pulled into something that I don't think that we will be able to dig ourselves out of when it comes to this political climate that we're living in today. Now, the Democratic Party is pretty much trying to pick up the pieces and trying to build a new form of Democratic Party, but there's so much dismay within the party because you got people who really want to move on and see what America being great again really means, and then you have those who could care less of the progress, who could care less of the struggle. They just want to commit absolute obstruction for the current president. So when you're in retrospect, when you're talking about the elected officials, I believe that they're playing roulette with their careers, and to declare war on the sitting president is a very slippery slope. So we may get 8 years out of Trump because the Democrats are talking about impeachment and everything under the sun. They sound like the Tea Party 8 years ago was on the witch hunt for against Obama, and nothing happened. They just wasted their time. But we have to really be serious and really understand the climate and what we need to do to move forward to not be caught up in a web of destruction, for one, and to actually recycle and to make the same mistakes that were committed before and hence past. So with the Better Black America, being a lobbyist and being a activist and community leader and Black Caucus member, we are not going to get caught up in looking at the scope from the position that they want us to, such as the mainstream media. So what we're doing is we're trying to see the effects of how these executive orders or executive actions that President Trump is signing, how it affects the community. Up until this point, he has signed 22 or 23, I'm going to go with 22 executive actions up until this point. So out of all those executive actions, I mean, you got 22 of them at this time. So from top to bottom, I've been studying and trying to pay attention and trying to see which ones actually affect the Black community. And just the first few that was signed, obviously the immigration ban, securing the southern borders, as well as pretty much sounds like a war on immigrants, the war on the drug cartels, the war on violent crimes. So with that being said, we're going to go through all of them, and then when we get the website up, we're going to put all the executive actions that Donald Trump signs into, all the executive orders that President Trump signs into law. We're going to put those out there. But this one here, in light of threats of sending federal assistance to the city of Chicago and other urban areas to actually combat crime and, more importantly, violent crimes, is pretty scary. So we really don't want that to happen. So from a reactive perspective, we're going to react in a way to where we can actually try to do something before that can actually happen, while this smokescreen and while this bickering and all the politicians are hating each other, the Democratic Party is declaring war and all of that. So, we really have to be honest with ourselves. We really have to be honest with ourselves, and we just can't just sit back and act as though, that we cannot just sit back and let them, the president of the United States and the media control our emotions. Because I see a lot of people, marching and protesting, but I really want to really pick the brains and have dialogue when the radio show drops next month, and really understand what can we do, what can change to actually to create the change. Because right now it seems like we're just mad and we're just pouting and we're frustrated, but we're not asking, or we're not doing anything or putting or implementing something that can actually make a difference. So we want to be difference makers. So we're the Better Black America. We pretty much look at it from a black point of view, because I got two eyes, and these two eyes happen to be from a 46-year-old black man. So my passion lies in the community. My passion lies in the youth. My passion lies in the success and the survival of the black community, more importantly, the black man. So out of the executive orders that he put into play, as of now, the only one that affects the black community indirectly is the presidential executive order on a task force on crime reduction and public safety. Okay, that was actually signed into law on February 9th, 2017 for immediate release. Okay, now executive order, task force on crime reduction and public safety. By the authority vested in me as a president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, and in order to reduce crime and restore public safety to communities across the nation, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, policy. It shall be the policy of the executive branch to reduce crime in America. Okay, Section 1, let's go ahead and reiterate. It shall be the policy of the executive branch to reduce crime in America. Last time I checked, it was state and local law enforcement to reduce crime, but he put in an executive order for the executive branch. That's the president, the attorney general, and all his homies. Basically, they're saying in this executive order that it's their job to reduce crime in America, period. Okay, and it continues. Many communities across the nation are suffering from high rates of violent crimes. A focus on law and order and the safety and the security of the American people requires a commitment to enforcing the law and developing policies that comprehensively address illegal immigration, drug trafficking, and violent crimes. Stop right there. Okay, now that's three parts right there. Okay, to address first illegal immigration, comma, drug trafficking, comma, and violent crimes. Now, the drug trafficking, okay, war on drugs, you get it. The cartels, Mexico, okay, and it's the executive branch of government, okay. But the violent crimes is the part that affects the black community, because the murder rate, we always throw Chicago out there because of the national scope, and the homicide rates are being at epic proportions. They cannot wait to go into our cities. They cannot wait to put their hands into the process of stopping violent crimes and hanging their hat on it. But we all know, especially, guys my age who was around the 94 crime bill, the 3 strikes law and all that, there's some sacrificial lambs that always get caught up. Just like with the immigration ban, you got illegal immigrants, but now if you get pulled over for a busted taillight and you're an illegal immigrant, their fear is to get deported on something simple like that. So our fear in the community is, are you just going to just start rounding people up? And we need to have these conversations. See, that's why we're doing what we do. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're grassroots, but we're really connected a little more so than the grassroots level, because we're able to sit at the table with local legislation and actually lobby our Congress, our local Congress people, to actually fight for us. But right now, we're knocking on doors, nobody's there, because everybody wants to impeach Donald Trump. They don't want to worry about the community or do what they were supposed to do by being elected officials. Everybody want to be mad. So that's why I'm saying the Democratic Party is, we really need to have the conversation to find out if that's the direction that we really want to go in, because the party really doesn't represent its true essence. Okay, it has poor leadership, and the leadership is pretty much status quo and basically doing what they're told to do to basically get us to submit to some things that we should not even be submitting to. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue out of respect to the executive order. I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Now, the Department of Justice shall take the lead on federal actions to support law enforcement efforts nationwide and collaborate with state, tribal, and local jurisdictions to restore public safety to all our communities. The word all is in there. There's always exceptions to the rules, but when you put all in there by definition, you basically saying everything. Okay, now section 2, task force. A furtherance of the policy described in section 1 of this order, I hereby, this is Donald Trump, I hereby direct the Attorney General. Attorney General is Jeff Sessions. So he giving Jeff Sessions the power. I hereby direct the Attorney General to establish and appoint or designate an individual or individuals to chair a task force on crime reduction and public safety. The Attorney General shall, to the extent permitted by law, provide administrative support and funding for the task force. So he's giving the power to Jeff Sessions. I mean, we know that he has history on Jeff Sessions, but we're really going to break these things down a little further. But just in terms of time and really trying to stay on topic, I'm going to continue. But man, he's giving the power to Jeff Sessions. Okay. All right. B, the Attorney General shall determine the characteristics of the task force, which shall be composed of individuals appointed or designated by him. So just like Donald Trump is picking his executive branch with like minds, so therefore he's giving the authority to the Attorney General, which is Jeff Sessions, to pick like minds of his personality. And Jeff Sessions was born in the Jim Crow era in Selma, Alabama, like in the 40s. So he grew up through Jim Crow, and he went to a segregated University of Alabama, in which he graduated from. He's the Attorney General. All right, section C, task force shall exchange information and ideas among its members and will be useful in developing strategies to reduce crime, including in particular illegal immigration, there you go again, drug trafficking, and violent crimes. So it's a war on that southern border, it's a war on drugs, and by indirectly, it affects us. So the homicides in our communities is basically tied into that. So we have to really be careful, and we have to really work on a exit plan and a strategy to actually get out of the game and get to the next level of regime changing and nation building our community, so we can socially and economically develop and succeed moving forward. Okay. Now, based on the exchange of information and ideas, development strategies to reduce crime, identify deficiencies in existing laws that have made them less effective in reducing crime, and propose new legislation that could be enacted to improve public safety and reduce crime. Okay, evaluate the availability and adequacy of crime-related data, and identify measures that could improve data collection in a manner that will aid in the understanding of crime trends and the reduction of crime. And they want to reduce some crime, and they're going to do it. I mean, it's clear. It's in here. Just, I mean, I'm going to stay on topic. All right, section 5. Any other studies and develop any other recommendations as directed by the Attorney General, meaning whatever he chooses to do, however he chooses to do it within the law, he's going to be able to get it done. Now, the task force shall meet as required by the Attorney General and shall be dissolved once it has accomplished two objectives set forth in the subsection of this section as determined by the Attorney General. The Attorney General got a whole lot of power, boy. Okay, now the task force shall submit at least one report to the president within 1 year from the date of this order, and subsequent report at least once per year thereafter while the task force remains in existence. So basically, they get an opportunity to do what they choose to do, and they only have to report to the president of the United States once a year. So that's why it's important for us to be a part of the operation and don't just wake up one day and say, hey, they've changed some laws. We need to see what's going on, and we need to influence and somehow address some measures that can actually be beneficial, or at least we can just, hey, be like Paul Revere and say, hey, they coming. They coming. The feds is coming. Because we have to pay attention. We have to warn. We're not going to get caught asleep, because this is not the American way. We've been here since 1619, and we have to somehow figure out a way where we can actually have our just due in this country and get the credit that we do deserve. Now, Section 3, general provisions. Nothing in this order shall be construed in repair or otherwise affect the authority granted by the law to an executive department or agency or the head thereof, or the function of the director of the management and budget relating to budgetary, administrative or legislative proposals. Meaning, y'all can't just take the money and run. Everything has to be documented. That's what that's trying to explain. Okay, and it's all been pretty much in closing. Okay, this order shall be implemented consistent with the applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law, or the equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. Signed February 9, 2017, Donald J. Trump. All right, so they're not playing, like I said, so we're going to really have to figure this thing out. But I do have some good news, though, and I'm going to be real short with my summary real quick. I really believe that it's timed out. Everybody that was a slave master is no longer here. Everyone that was a slave is no longer here. Every black man that was angry and militant in the 60s has basically changed his views. Okay, because we know without a shadow of a doubt, we cannot stand up to America and win. We basically going to just commit suicide. But we're smart enough to know that we can actually work with America and develop some type of subdivision in the sense of blacks in this country, and create some sovereignty to separate ourselves from the bucket of everything other than white in this nation. We've been here since 1619. So America understands that the blacks are very important, and they do understand that all the roadblocks that they put in place for blacks in this country by default has risen a immigrant community, has risen the everything outside of what it was designed for. And it looks like when they say they want to make America great again, that they want to take that back, because it looks like that the Mexican War was fought and lost, and they do realize that by these whole West Coast being dominated in terms of the numbers. I mean, look at Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, San Jose. We have that influence, but America is saying, hey, and Donald Trump is saying, not on my watch. But one group of people he cannot exclude, and it has nothing to do with race, gender, sexual preference, or anything like that. One group of people that he cannot exclude is blacks in this country, because blacks are the most important entity that this nation has ever seen, because we built this nation, and the remnants of that is still fact. Okay, and we've been working with local officials and elected officials, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to be commemorating 1619, 400 years here, and we're going to really have the conversations and pray that we can actually sit down with the president or Ben Carson or someone who's connected, so they can really understand and talk to true leadership and understand that we really want to work with this government and somehow create heavenly places here on earth as it is in heaven. And we just know without a shadow of a doubt that we deserve a little more. We know without a shadow of a doubt that this country strategically dismantled any and everything that showed pride or strength. And it looks like the system has actually recycled itself. It looks like it just, they need to hit a system reset, because by trying to keep the disenfranchised down by default, kept a large group of white Americans down, and to get them back on track and help them by default, Black America and the American citizens will benefit from that. So instead of falling for the smokescreen and fighting and being emotionally charged and just want to be a disruptor, we have to be game changers, and we have to be sitting right there with them and have to put our 2 cents in. So when they decide to make a move, we influence the move to some degree. So I can continue to go on, but a lot of the reading of the executive orders took up my time, but we're going to keep it coming. And the radio show is going to be so on point. It's going to be looking like ESPN. We're gonna make it happen. But today I wanted to just share with you one of Trump's executive actions and the effect of in the Black community. And we're going to read every last executive order, peel all the layers back, and provide the necessary information so we can not fall for the same trick, so we can actually evolve and be a part of the Black Renaissance in America and be a part of the Black movement that created a social, economical, and financial structure in America that can actually just be here and be something that our children can be proud of. Because when it comes to Black history, it didn't stop in the 60s. We're living our history right now. So we have to step our game up, and we have to be a part of the operation and do our due diligence to make things happen. And with that being said, happy Thursday to you. Have a beautiful day. And this is your boy, Bushan Glover, with A Better Black America. Have a great day. Peace out.